Get out.
All right, let's roll.
All right.
All right. It is another edition of the High Hopes Podcast, also known as the first and who knows if only, but maybe only edition of the last week of Fritz's 20s. Oh no! How you doing, buddy? Hello, everyone. I had to. I mean, after all the years, if I didn't lead with that, how are you?
It's a disaster. I mean, think of... No, it's fine. It's okay.
Fine. You're a dad. You're great. Everything's good.
It's just really...
Think about how good you are set up going to your 30s. I was a mess going into my 30s. I was starting my life over. You're freaking crushing life, man. You should be happy.
It's more just that it's weird to be alive for 30 years.
Yeah,
that's the one that's I've been thinking a lot about. I mean, I'm sure it's weirder being alive for 40.
Yes.
Years like
or I just realized as I was thinking about your birthday coming up. For those listeners who don't know, Jack's birthday on Friday, March 15th. Also, my little brother's birthday. Appropriate. My two little brothers have the exact same birthday. It was definitely weird thinking that my brother's going to be 38 on Friday. It was like, I feel older thinking about that than me being 42.
Right. And because the whole thing is like, beware of the Ides of March, right?
That's correct. Get stabbed in the back, buddy.
Julius Caesar was a real guy, right? Like it wasn't a Shakespeare thing.
No,
okay.
He was real. Shakespeare did write a play about Julius Caesar, but it was based on the real human who existed. Yes, correct. Emperor of Rome, the whole thing. Yes.
Just wanted to clear that up before we got too far into the podcast.
Yeah, it's good having March 15th as a birthday to, know those things. Yeah.
Well, I just want to make sure he's real.
Yeah, he was. This is good. I'm happy. I'm happy we can let you enter your 30s with that mystery solved. I feel like once you turn 30, you should know that. So I'm happy. Yeah.
Hey.
Arguably younger, you should know that, but at 30, we'll go with you.
Hey, it's spring training for everyone. It's spring training for everyone.
And as you texted me, it all matters. That's right.
Of course it matters. Yeah.
I watch Nikki C go Oppo Boppo.
I know.
And I was like, it doesn't matter, but it's fun. And you're like, bro.
Did you watch the dreadfulness that was the game in Bradenton today at all, or no?
I watched some of it, and then once I kind of got a real feel for who was in the lineup, I was like, I don't need to pay.
Yeah, I think once
I'm gonna put on college basketball.
Once O'Neal Cruz hit a ball like maybe the hardest thing I've seen in baseball hit in a while, I was like, might not be the boys'
Which is
day.
funny because I think he's the guy who holds the Statcast record, right? For the hardest hit ball.
Yeah, for sure. He's a showcase player. 6'7", throws the ball set like 105 across the infield. Hits the ball a mile.
6'7" shortstops. What are the freaking odds of that?
I know.
Like it's ridiculous. Like it doesn't make sense. Anyway.
Yeah. So I have reached the point though. Like I'm ready. Like I don't.
Oh, me too.
I'm over spring training. I like the first week of spring training so much, and then right around
aboard,
this time.
Buddy.
Well, because and this is not to rip, the Phillies. They have made.
I like where this is going. Yeah.
They've made spring training so boring because they put in guys that are like organizational types, rather than like any of the interesting prospects.
Like Aramis Garcia crushing it this spring.
Stubbsy on the hot seat.
Is he the best Aramis to ever play baseball?
Yeah. Well, I say Aramis. It's Aramis.
Aramis. Yeah. Come on, buddy.
Aramis Ramirez.
So we always called him A. in my league because it was a long joke, but it was my buddy drafted A. Ramirez in an early fantasy draft to draft Aramis Ramirez. So we always called him A. So anyway,
it's a pretty sick nickname.
Yeah,
but no, they've made it so it's all these organizational types. Like most of the arms, like there's some interesting arms. Like I got a whole 5 minutes that you need to give me on Michael Mercado. Because,
trust me, I saw your tweet. I thought it was the whole pod. I'm happy it's only 5 minutes. I will gladly take that.
And it's so funny. They still make Stott and Bohm make the road trips.
Oh, I know.
So good. But I guess when The lineup's pretty much set. Like, there's no like real position battles. The Rojas thing has to be talked about. I mean, he's just not hitting. I at this point, if Christian Pache is not I don't know how he's not the opening day center fielder. They seem so convinced Johan Rojas is going to be good, and I don't really know why. Like, I think defensively, 100%. Like, maybe the best with my own eyes I've seen play center field for this team. But I just don't think he's going to hit enough. And it's like, there's not that much of a downgrade from Rojas to Pache defensively, if there is one. And he just brings so much. He brings so much more offensively. Like, he's even hit home runs against righties this year. He's hit a ball 105 miles an hour off a righty. The Rojas thing is probably the most interesting thing left in camp. He's bunting all the time, which is fine. Like, he has to know how to do that stuff. But what are we gonna do? Essentially, put a pitcher batting ninth again?
Yeah,
because that's what it seems like. So the Rojas thing is probably the most interesting thing left.
Yeah, I think without a doubt. I think it's the only really question that we have. And to your point, look, spring training doesn't matter, guy over here. But there are certain things where, when a guy is coming in fighting to grab a job, and it's like all you have to do is hit to grab a job and he can't hit. I'm not going to say that doesn't matter. I'm certainly not going to condemn his career because of it, but I'm certainly not going to hand him the center field job if he can't prove in spring that he can at least hit off, especially off some of the guys he's facing. So I'm right there, especially when Pache is hitting, especially when Pache is out of options. So there is a extra reason to have him on the roster. And look, if we're just talking about pedigree, I mean, Christian Pache has way more pedigree too. I mean, he is just he was always a higher end prospect with a higher ceiling than Johan Rojas. Obviously not defensively, even though he is. It's so funny because Pache, one of the great defensive outfielders we've seen in a Phillies uniform in our lifetime, but Rojas I think is the greatest, so it overshadows it. But Pache just if he can get closer to his natural gifts, he's a better talent too. So I think there's a lot of reasons, and to your point, it makes a ton of sense. I just think that I think that they wanted to come in showing belief in Rojas, showing, and look, I think the Marsh injury kind of made it more of a necessity as well, not knowing how ready Marsh will be to really roll from the start. So I think they wanted to show confidence, and I don't think that's done yet. Look, it's only March 10th. There's still 3 weeks or 2.5 weeks till the season starts, and still a few weeks of spring training left. But yeah, look, I think if Rojas doesn't start hitting immediately, and even then, I think Pache will be on the opening day roster, and I think it'll be some sort of timeshare, especially dependent on Marsh and how much he could play. But yeah, I'm with you. I think that if it's just, the way it's been playing out, and if Marsh is ready, and even maybe Merrifield and left, depending on it. But I think it's clear Pache is way outplayed Ross.
Well, just also, it's pretty harmless to start Johan Rojas at AAA and see if he can handle AAA first, or if he's working on swing adjustments and it doesn't exactly click in spring training. I think the way to I don't know, kill confidence more than anything is just putting him out there on opening day. Yeah. And at least if he goes down to AAA and hits there and can continue to work through the swing changes, like it could all work out. But like, when you are where you are right now as a team that has preached all year, we need to come out hot. We don't want to go into the toilet. Now, the schedule in April.
By the way, and also putting on the expectations of the owner coming out and starting everything off by being like, let's go win championships, guys. Like, enough. Like, their expectations are high coming right out the gate.
Like, I think it's not giving up on Johan Rojas. Like, there's something there. I just, at this point, it looks pretty close to last year. And I know people bring up, well, he batted .302. Do we remember some of the Johan Rojas hits?
We talked about it. Remember his first homer was against a position player.
I know.
The hardest hit ball we saw from him all year by a mile, or deepest whatever, was off a position player. It was like the only time he roped one. He had to apologize.
Yeah, well, there's a couple that he hit right into the ground that bounced over the third baseman's head. There's a good player there, but I just, with the way Pache looks, with the way he also tracks the ball well in center field. There's no downgrade there, and at least there's a threat of a home run there. I think at this point, they keep believing in him. I mean, some of the quotes that are from Middleton.
All spring, and Dombrowski the whole spring going into spring. Dombrowski on the morning show with us, like a month ago. Like they've just been consistently, Rojas is our guy. Like that has been the messaging.
And it's so crazy to me. It's so crazy to me because maybe I
liked it. I liked it early, but when he's struggling at a certain point, you have to be willing to look at what you're seeing, right?
It's okay. Like it's okay. And this is an organization that they value spring training results. I mean, they've given contracts out because of spring training results. So it does matter, a little bit. And maybe in the next couple of weeks he heats up and all of a sudden you start seeing it. But it does look a little bit like last year. He has had 1 for 4 games, but it's never like bang. There's a 3 for 4 burger from Johan Rojas.
It's only 20 something at bats, 22, 23. It's not like a crazy amount of at bats, 27, something like that. But yeah, to your point, you want to see him kind of get going. I want to see him have like multi-hit games back to back, whatever, especially because it's one thing to, struggle against Kevin Gausman starting a game. It's another thing against the bullpen guys and the fringe roster guys and all that. And that's another thing with the 302 last year. That's a lot of September and you're facing guys who are getting called up or teams that are out of it. There's so many factors but yeah, I think it's clearly the most interesting thing heading into the season. All right, let's get into some stuff because I think the big thing, you just freaking got to hang out with Bryce Harper and Trey Turner and be down there and scout with your own eyes what you were seeing.
So much scouting.
Take us to Clearwater, buddy. What are the highlights? I know we have honestly, really, you tweeted the Michael Mercado pod, and I was like, it's actually the Middleton Jack pod, which, no one else knows about, but we're going to get to a story that I'm waiting to hear too. But let's start with the players, Harper, Turner, what you saw, give us the scoop.
So, full disclosure, we were sitting in left field for the game on Friday. Mm-hmm. Couldn't see a thing. So
it's more of a party than a game.
The Tiki Bar is great. The Tiki Bar area is awesome. And let's just get this all out of the way. Clearwater's amazing. There's 10,000 people there each game. It's unbelievable how people have just flocked back to Phillies baseball. And the part that makes me the most happy is that for years it was baseball's dead in Philadelphia. Baseball's dead in Philadelphia. Second team gets good, bang. Everyone's like, we got to get to Clearwater. So that makes me happy. That's the sign of a city that can't wait for a baseball team. So that was exciting, seeing the amount of people. A lot of High Hopes listeners came up and said hi.
Yeah, buddy. Well, I'll be there Sunday, or I guess Monday, Tuesday. I think Monday there's games, so I'll be there.
And Tuesday they have the night game. So it's good.
We'll be back by then. So I think we're there Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday come back, but we'll be there.
Yeah. So just an unbelievable atmosphere per usual. So just hanging out in Clearwater is the greatest. So if you haven't gone yet, it's about time. It's about time to get to Clearwater.
Yeah. If you're a big time, I mean, what am I saying? If you listen to this pod, you should go to Clearwater. You won't regret it.
For sure.
It's an experience. All right. So before we get your highlights from what you saw, because you didn't see much of the games, take us through. You guys had Harper and Turner on the show. You got to hang out, take some pictures, squinting in the sun. No big deal. Yeah. Give us some highlights.
I was also in the advantageous or disadvantageous, if that's a word.
Yes, it is disadvantageous. A word.
A spot of being on the end.
Cruising into your 30s here. Yeah.
No, I was on the end. It was squinty, so it made me look like I was ready to replace Kelsey on the O line. So we get down there, we fly in, and go straight to the ballpark to talk to those guys, and we're kind of sitting there for a little bit as they're finishing up infield work. Bobby Dickerson and the boys just field some grounders.
Magic.
I love that little area. It's like a cool little spot where the little field is only an infield, and it's just a good little spot for
infield practice was my favorite thing to do. I mean, I was a catcher most of the time, but I would play third base when I didn't catch. And when I was younger in Little League, I played shortstop, and infield practice was my favorite. I just love fielding ground balls, making plays, it's just fun. And running double play, drills. It's great. Quick, that's right. Quick hand seltzer, not quick feet. Quick hands.
Quick hand seltzer.
Yeah.
So
that's why I end up becoming a catcher. And
right. So we sit down, and Bryce comes over. The first guy he says to us, "What's up, Jack?" And then gives me
no way. Did he really?
Yeah. Come on, man. Shook his hand. Yeah.
Oh no! Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh my God! What is your heart aflutter? My heart's aflutter just hearing it.
Yeah. Well, so I think
the
I put it off.
The only thing that could have made it better is like, "Hey Jack, love the pod."
I didn't know if that was coming, but it didn't come. Which is fine.
Yeah, no complaints.
But I think I did a pretty good job of like, all good. Don't need to. My body was not, I was not leaving my body at that time.
I'm proud of you for that.
So then we sit down on maybe like the smallest picnic table ever assembled. Mm-hmm. Somehow they fit me, Spike, Ike, and Harper on this like small picnic table. So I felt crammed in. So he's like sitting facing us in a normal position, like into the mic. I'm straddling the other side of the picnic, looking to my left with him, which is a bit of a tough scene, but I feel like if I was turned around looking at him, I'd be really close.
Hearing you say straddle was tough. I can only imagine it actually happening.
Yeah, it's a picnic table. It's a little thing.
I lost you. I can't hear you. Did your mic come out?
No, I don't think so. No. Hello?
Unless it's on my end.
It's 100% probably on your end.
I can't hear you. Hold on. That's on my end. Hold on. You keep talking. Huh. Oh, it's Jack. So I just disconnected. There we go.
I can hear
it's good stuff.
I can hear both.
I need to reconnect.
You can't hear me.
There we go. Jack, you muted yourself.
No, I didn't. I muted myself to fix my mic because I thought it was wrong, but everyone else could hear me besides.
Oh no.
Can you not hear me right now? No, you can't hear me right now. This is dynamite. This is the best you've ever sounded on this podcast. Why did this happen?
I can't hear, but I can hear my headphones when I test them. This must be a fun video for people right now. Can you hear me, Jack, when I talk?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
You can? Okay. Yes, I can't hear you. Are you muted or something? No. What happened?
Well, now, hold on. Am I good now?
So we're crushing this right now. This is good. At least Tucker's here to solve this.
Tucker, for sending you a lifeline. There's no way he is. No one has any idea what's going on.
What's the plan, Tuck?
What should we do here? Is it your AirPods? Did your AirPods die?
Should I leave and come back in? Do you want to leave?
Yeah, why don't you just leave and come back in?
All right, here.
Why are more people listening now? All right. Well, maybe I'll just talk for a little bit. Nah, that's probably a bad idea. Tucker, you want to throw up some impromptu questions here on the pod? I don't know. Listen, if I guess if you want to get some questions in while Seltzer figures it out. Oh no, hold on. Let's see. He's back. Is this gonna work?
I got you now. Look at that.
You're fine?
What? Yeah, I got you now.
Oh, okay. All right, back to regular scheduled program. I was about to start taking questions.
Yeah, Tucker's got some editing he could do.
All right, so back to where we were, I guess. So I'm sitting on the picnic table, looking to my left. It's Bryce. In the beginning, I just kind of kept looking down at my notes and up because if we were so close, I didn't want to
get like super close eye contact by mistake. Yeah, exactly. Awkward moment. Like, oh God, I didn't mean to do that. I just looked into his soul. Yeah.
Right. So I remember.
I'd be like, Bryce, look into my soul, man. I'm right here, buddy.
So there was a couple times where we did link eyes. and you could just see the intensity.
It's magic. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know if you know me. I think you know me.
I do. Yeah.
Not much intensity in these
No.
eyes,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when you see intense eyes,
You can bust it out when you have to. That's the thing. It's like
Game 7.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. So I don't know. Like, we were just sitting there, and I remember before every question, my heart was like pounding out of my chest. Not even. It was bad. It was bad. But we made him laugh a couple times. Talked about the season. He gave a really good answer. He was like, he went on like a minute and a half answer about like Chase Utley in the '09 World Series, and I was like, God, you just get it.
Gets it.
Yeah, it's all I needed to hear.
Who just gets it?
Yeah, he just gets it.
Yeah, now that Kelsey's gone, he's like the number one get it current athlete in Philly, I think.
I know.
Like you couldn't pass Kelsey, but like, it's Harper now, I think.
The audio was horrible, so that was annoying.
Yeah, the key down there, it's tough to do the outside interviews,
Yeah, well,
is that with the player? If the players want it, that makes it tougher too.
Well, also it's kind of like away from the mic a little bit, so
yeah,
that was annoying. But yeah, no, it was cool. He was very normal. He smiled, laughed a lot. He said, "Hey, Jack." I was the first one he said hi to. So
oh my God, that's amazing. Yeah, he's so charismatic and so likable. I know, and he just gets it. He tries.
He knew Spike came down from New York.
Yeah, like even that he knew, like to know that just takes the time to like. I mean, it's just. So few people, athletes, take the time to care about that kind of stuff. And it goes such a long way, especially in this. Hey, Kelsey is another example. Like, I mean, just to take the time to write a 45-minute retirement speech thanking, 10 million people. Like, it's just like, there aren't that many people who care. And Harper, like, cares. Like, he wants to be, what he is portraying himself to be here. And I appreciate that.
Oh, and he went he said
went all in.
He said, when I got here, I was like, I'm going to be here for 13 years.
Yeah, he's made it clear. Yeah, he's trying to stay longer.
He is trying to stay longer.
All right. Before we get on the Trey interview, question on Harper, because we're on it, because this kind of happened after you guys talked to him. It was kind of like the next day or whatever. But the whole quote in the Todd Zalacki article about, where he's like, we got Aaron and Zach locked in. We got Ranger. And then he's like, then there's, a couple free agents out there. Pretty good. Let's go get them. Bryce has not been shy about, asking the front office to make moves. And obviously, I think he's really helped the team from that perspective. I don't think John Middleton needs to be prodded much anymore. I mean, John's been freaking amazing. And the dude has literally answered the bell in every pay someone a situation. We were talking about all the contracts that Middleton's given out. The Phillies think about this. Phillies have 8 contracts right now. Right now, 8 free agent contracts they have given out that are bigger than the biggest contract the White Sox have ever given out. The Andrew Benintendi 5 for $75 was the biggest free agent contract in White Sox history. The Phillies the White Sox have been around forever. Like Phillies have 8 guys right now. So I don't think you need to push Middleton to spend more. But like the big issue with this one that people had, and I'm kind of in the middle. I'm not as angry as others, but I also it's also you're in the clubhouse with the guys, but he mentions these guys and, kind of doesn't mention Taiwan, doesn't mention Christopher Sanchez. How'd you take that whole thing?
I don't know. I like it's not that big of a deal to me. Yeah. I don't think those guys really saw it, and I actually don't think it's really about Sanchez. Like I think
it's a message to Taiwan. That's my favorite read on it, is that he was like, "Yo, bro, you're gonna complain like that. You're gonna publicly go at our guy Rob. Like come back and earn it, man." Like that's the way I read it, and I'm fine with that. And I get that he can't include Sanchez and not include Taiwan, because then it's like so pointed. I just, if I'm Christopher Sanchez, I'm sitting there, I'm like, "Hey, Bryce, I'm here, buddy. It's all good."
Yeah, I mean, listen, he is very influential in the organization. That is obvious. I also don't understand, like, he's done things like this in the past. I don't know why this one caused such a ruckus. Mm-hmm. Like he's been vocal about wanting to, and by the way, like, it's never been a problem. And if you go and add a Jordan Montgomery to this to this team, it makes them that much better. So maybe it's a message to Taiwan. And like I don't think it's really about Chris Sanchez. I think he knows that Chris Sanchez is perfectly fine as a 5.
I agree.
I think he's
I
a
feel
little
the
bit
same
worried.
way.
I think he's worried about Taiwan Walker, and I don't know why you really wouldn't be. Like he pitched yesterday, fine. It was like 90 miles an hour. Again, he's an innings eater, which is funny because he's always injured growing up or coming through the majors. But like Bryce wants to do what it takes to win, and if he views that as going and getting a Jordan Montgomery or a Blake Snell, again, I don't really think they're on Blake Snell. You have to give up a lot on top of it for such a short-term deal. What I think about these pitchers now is, it's traditionally said that these guys that miss a bit of spring training and aren't ready to go from day one, they have like a bit of a slow start to the season. Like, at what point do you just pull the plug and be like, Jordan Montgomery would be nice, but maybe he's not going to be ready to go, or maybe he's going to start the season slow. And if it's a 1-year deal or whatever, is it really worth all this?
As opposed to just say what they talked about, like the way they phrase it, which is a weird phrase, but saving the powder for the trade deadline and getting someone who looks awesome and is locked in and be like, oh, we can go get our equivalent of going to get Max Scherzer or whoever for a stretch run. Like maybe that's a smarter idea if we're talking about a 1-year deal anyway, right?
And like the Red Sox apparently are balking. I think he's still in the mindset that he's going to get like a 7-year deal, and it's like, well, the Phillies aren't giving out a 7-year deal. They'll sign you to a one with opt-outs for probably 3 years if you want that, or 2 years if you want that. I think they take him for a year, but I wonder at what point do they just say, we're good. Because he probably starts the season slow if he gets into camp today. It's March 10th. The season starts in 17 days.
I agree.
Or
not probably.
days.
He won't be ready to start this. Like whenever these guys sign, they will not be pitching the first week of the season. Like they just won't. Like it's not the way it works.
Big move at the deadline. I would like the first ever real Dabrowski all in kind of move.
Yeah.
I was surprised, I guess, at the reaction. And yeah, sure. Like, if you want to say this could cause problems in the locker room, sure. But like, this is a Phillies team that has never had problems in the locker room. Like they collapsed in Game 6 and 7, and they didn't immediately go to local reporters or leak out that there's finger pointing involved, unlike the football team in town. So it's like two different, I think, things. And I think people kind of understand the Bryce situation. It's sort of like LeBron. LeBron's gone everywhere and he's traded everyone.
Oh my God, LeBron is way worse about it. LeBron is like, if I were LeBron's teammate, I'd be like, what the bleep, man, all the time. I'd be like, really? Like, we're here. I'm with you, dude. I don't like on its face in a vacuum. I don't love it from your team leader, but I understand the Taiwan situation. I also understand, I give Bryce credit to understand the dynamics in that locker room better than we do. And him doing something like this, who won't, whatever, be bothered, understand, whatever. All right, let's get to the Trey interview. And did he walk up and say, Jack, thank you?
He did not.
Will appreciate you for the rest of my life.
No.
I've put you in my will. No, nothing like that.
It was probably the most comfortable I had seen Trey in any setting. Like, and I think
doesn't matter, but he's looked comfortable this spring too in limited bets. He's been good.
Looks great this spring. Yeah. So, I think it's mostly he just seemed very relaxed heading into year 2. Like he said a couple of times, like, I'm not using the World Baseball Classic as an excuse. I'm not doing this, not doing that. All excuses, which I appreciate. But like, it was a lot of moving parts, plus going to a new team, plus huge contracts, plus Bryce Harper missing the beginning of the year. Like, there was a lot on Trey last year. Coming to his team that was in the World Series the year before, there's expectations to get right back to that point. And Trey, at that, was considered a top 10 player in the sport when he signed that contract. So he just seems much more, I got it. Like, even he's messing around with Stott. He's messing around with Boa. Boa was talking also about how Trey seems just so much more comfortable. Like, they're messing around the golf course together. The camaraderie of this team, I think, is one of the bigger takeaways from being down there. Is like, when we
back to where they left off, kind of thing.
Well, and where I think people were annoyed this offseason where it felt like they weren't going all in and they weren't pushing all the chips in. Or not, that's not fair. They were pushing the chips in, but there wasn't that big other move to respond to the loss of the Diamondbacks. What I think is discounted in that is a group of guys who all went through it together, now being brought back, being put in the same spot. It reminds me a lot of those early 2000s Eagles teams where it was the same guys pretty much every year. You know, I mean, 04 was when they started moving on. You know, that's when they had Lito and Sheldon for Troy and Bobby. But it was a similar core that had gotten close, and was just waiting to break through.
Totally.
Versus
after not having success for a really long time as a franchise, like that level of success. Yeah.
Right. And then obviously we know about the run from 07 to 11, like a lot of guys who had been there for a little bit, but they went out and added in 10, 11, and even 12 when they were trying to keep that window open. But they just all seem like they all get and know each other so well. And when you know these guys better and you get more comfortable around them, like it just makes the bond stronger and makes you want to push it more and more. So I think that's been really cool to see. And I think Trey, that kind of came across in the interview. Again, poor quality. But but he was joking around. He was having fun. We Spike showed him the video of us in the locker room.
Locker room, that's great.
And he was like, "How would you rate this? Was it a little too handsy?" You know, and Trey was like, "Listen, when you're celebrating in the locker room, you know, sometimes the emotions take over. It's all good." So he did not think it was a bad interaction.
He gets it.
It was a perfectly fine interaction. I would like that on. It was perfectly fine.
I agree. I agree.
I
thought it was perfect.
Totally.
So it was a couple of baseball guys interacting in a locker room. That's all it was.
Just talking shop. Talking shop.
Ah.
So he also was like, "Yeah, hope we don't have to do the standing ovation thing again." You know, like
Trey, let me tell you something. Probably wouldn't happen that way again if we head down that road.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah. So he was just great, and he seems so content. Seems happy. Has been pretty open about his defense. You know, and needing to get better there. I think the him and Stott relationship is starting to get really strong. You know,
good.
Stott's been busting his stones about him beating him in stolen bases last year, and Trey's
I love friendly competition. It's beautiful. Let's go.
Trey's like, look at my baseball card. Look at the back of the baseball card.
Yeah, it's good. Well, you can learn from Trey. It's great. Yeah,
and over your skis a little bit.
That's phenomenal.
So yeah, I think Trey looks phenomenal too. Just at the plate, everything just looks great. I mean, of the regulars, I think Trey sticks out right now. And then again, JT is just squaring up.
Yeah, he's been awesome. Yeah, every time I see it, he's squaring it up and hitting it hard. I'm so with you. I'm really excited about that, and that could really solve their, if they do go with the lineup we've expected with a Schwarber, Turner, Harper start. We're because we know how much Topper loves those righties and the late inning lefty thing. Like JT, I think kind of being like, I'm the guy you should put in the 4-hole right now. And I think that could carry over. All right. Before we move on from your trip down there, I mean, let's do it, buddy. I can't believe I've made it 33 minutes without getting to what you referred to me in a text as the botched John Middleton interaction that you had that you were waiting for the Middleton. You were excited to have one. And I was like, what happened? And he's like, you'll hear on the pod. So we're here.
All right, so Friday, this is 2 times. So Friday, we're in the lunchroom, and he's sitting at the table over, sitting by himself. I said to Spike, like, should I go say hi? And I didn't. Of course not. You're such a nerd. I love it. I was like, of course not.
I would have walked you over there myself and been like, hey, John. No. Yeah.
Nope. Because it's, again, you and me are very different.
Very different, I know. Trust me. Emily would be doing what you were doing. She'd go the other way. She'd be like, I'm not going to leave the room and let John have the room.
Meeting people that I care about a lot, or that I think are like famous or whatever. I highly dislike those interactions. Highly dislike. Now, Have I told the Doobie story on this podcast?
Yeah, but I
Okay.
mean, we got new listeners. Your fear of meeting Rich Doobie at the Hall of Fame is legendary. You're like,
Yeah.
that's Rich Doobie, and I'm like, so.
Dude, you don't get it, man. You don't get it. Like we were at Cooperstown. He's walking around the Hall of Fame, and then by the way, this is not when I was a kid. This was
No, we
5
were
years ago.
adults together. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, it's Rich Doobie. And you gonna go say hi? And I was like, absolutely not. Way too
It's
nervous.
like, what's wrong with you?
Way too nervous, man. Just way too nervous. So I didn't say hi to him in the lunchroom. And that night we went to the like Phillies party thing, and of course, you get some liquid courage. That definitely helps. So talking, but I didn't go up to him yet. So like I saw him, I was kind of like, all right,
Feeling it out.
is this a
checking
time
it
where I
out.
could do it? Like, am I really gonna say hi? No big deal if not, because if I don't, it's just another whatever.
Nothing
it's fine.
gained, nothing earned. It's just one of those,
Exactly.
like, you're in the exact same spot you're in before, right? Yeah.
So I have to go to the bathroom, and I'm navigating in between tables to get to the bathroom, and he hits the hole like a linebacker. I hit it like a running back, and it was like, and I was like, I was forced to say hi to John Middleton. So there was no other way of getting out of it. I had to say hi to John. And the first part was he didn't have any hands because he was holding stuff. So I went out to shake his hand.
Oh, no.
I was like, "Hey, John, my name's Jack Fritz. Like, really great to meet you." Put out my hand. Didn't have any hands, so he gave me like the elbow. And I was like, I want to die inside.
It's tough.
This is not
That's
going
tough.
well. And then I was like, yeah, huge fan. Like, love what you've done. Like, thank you for everything, all that stuff. And then I was like, I don't know. Somehow I was like, oh yeah, I work at WIP.
Oh,
Nothing.
cringe.
And,
Cringe.
really great to meet you. And then I went right to the bathroom.
Oh, man.
Yeah, like, he didn't break it like once. Like there was no, there was almost there's
Sitting
like
there
nothing. There's nothing. Yeah, there's nothing.
That's
So,
I mean, I'm sure it sounds tougher than it was. It sounds tough though. Definitely. I was expecting it to be less tough, but it's pretty tough.
thank you. No, when he put out the
Sure, it was
elbow,
fine. I'm sure it's fine.
when he went elbow out instead of hand, he's like, "Ah, so I don't really."
You
have
were
it."
doomed from that moment. You knew it.
Because once if those interactions don't go perfectly, then
you're in your head for the next month about it.
then I start just thinking about it. Then I just start thinking about it.
I'm sure it was fine. I'm just joking around with you. I'm sure.
I'm sure. Here's the thing: Middleton will not remember it or care.
Exactly.
I will.
You
remember
will.
It and care. So I did my best. It was not great. Of all the things I've botched in the last month, the Kellen Moore question.
That was that was one.
bad audio
That was
of the Harper interview.
Yeah, there are few. That's low on the list comparatively.
Because again, Bryce is like, "Yo, Jack, what's up, man?" So like
exactly. I'd smoothed all that over. Yeah.
Yeah, I did not say hi to Topper. I really wanted to say hi to Topper.
Yeah, I've not gotten. I can't wait to say hi to Topper. I'm looking forward to that if I get the opportunity. But
Yeah, but it was awesome. It was awesome. And then I went and met up with my buddies. My one of my best friends, Tommy, is getting married.
Shout out to Tommy.
So he had a bachelor party in Clearwater. So I had to go leave the highly important Phillies party to go hang out with.
Look at you. What a good friend you are.
Yeah, top tier. But yeah, so it was a bad It wasn't a bad interaction. It just wasn't great.
Look,
and I had such high hopes for it.
It's just I see what you did there. It's
know.
like saying the name of the movie title in the movie. I love that.
Yeah. Like I guess I got a little lofty expectations. I was waiting for him to be like, "Dude, love the pod." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and that
of course.
didn't happen.
Or even just, "Hey, Jack, yeah, I know you." Like that would have been fine.
As soon as he didn't say "love the pod," I was like, "This is
Even
not
if you
going
just
how
been,
I
"Oh,
envisioned
Jack, WIP, sure." Like that would have been fine. Yeah.
That would have been great.
Even like a flicker of acknowledgement in his eye without saying they would have been great. But I get it.
I will redeem myself one day.
Yeah, well, that's the point. Is honestly the way you gotta look at this is it's just giving you an opportunity to make that second one that much more magical and meaningful.
Well,
where to go from up.
As my quarterback says, you either
Okay.
win or you learn.
There you go. That's your quarterback. Good. I like that. Welcome aboard. I'm happy to have you aboard on that one.
Yep.
I owe you dinner, by the way. All right, let's let's get to the take bag, aka the Michael Mercado bag today. All you, buddy. Let's go.
So I have been burned by this in the past. Full disclosure. Let's get this one right out of the
I
way.
can't remember a single time.
The key to I guess calming down any negative reaction to things sometimes, James, is getting out in front of them.
True.
So that's what I'm currently doing. Yes, I know about McKinley Moore. I know about Andrew Baker. I know about some of these failed bullpen guys in the past. Well aware.
Junior Marte. Ramon Rosso. Remember when you were in on Ramon Rosso?
I believe I was the one that convinced them that he should be like their closer. And then I remember the first game against the Marlins in the COVID year. He completely blew a game in like the eighth with a lead. Dude, they're the ones that put him in the eighth inning of a game.
Oh, it was a disaster. That was a total I mean, worst bullpen of all time, buddy.
And Ramon Rosso.
For a reason.
I forgot about Ramon Rosso.
That's what I'm here for, pal.
Well, Edibry Ramos.
I believe.
Edibry Ramos. Who's the guy they traded to the Rays that had that gyro slider, I believe, then?
Not Garrett Clevenger, right? The one they traded. No.
It's no big deal.
I know who you're talking about. But anyway, yeah, let's get to Mercado because, geez Louise, 40 minutes in, what am I doing? Go ahead.
Might be the next Madsen, honestly.
Okay.
No. A real quick diatribe. Diatribe might not be the right word.
Probably
real quick,
not. Yeah.
Real quick aside. Aside.
Tangent aside, whatever.
Yeah.
Yes.
Real quick aside. I love Ryan Madsen, but
what a bold statement from a Phillies fan. Yes.
But I think Ruben Amaro Jr. loves Ryan Madsen more than me because on the broadcast the last 2 days he's compared different players to Ryan Madsen.
I love it. That's great.
And me and him were both kindred spirits on the Connor Brogdon is the next Ryan Madsen. So no, he was not.
You never know. Still young.
Key member of the 22 World Series run. Right. No, but Mercado, fastball pops. Fastball's really heavy. Has obvious big league stuff. Sliders coming along. So he's probably going to start the year in AAA. But he seems like that first guy goes down, bang, there's Michael Mercado. And there's legitimate stuff there. I mean, it's of all the uninteresting stuff we've seen so far in spring training. He's something. Like there's something there. I think his command's gotten better the last couple of days as he's settled down. Just completely owned O'Neal Cruz today. I mean, it was, I believe, a 3-pitch strikeout. If not a 3-pitch, at least a 4-pitch. Just bang right after him. So there's big league stuff there. I think they're having him tinker with the splitter. So if you have his fastball that it just is heavy and hard to get on top of, and then he had that slider with a splitter, there's something there with Michael Mercado. Very excited about it. But that's all. That's
I'm really psyched for you, buddy. It's great.
Cool. So
yeah, I have nothing else to say there.
Also, 63 is a good reliever number, but I don't. It's actually a weird spot to be in, James, because if this was I don't know, 3 years ago, it's Mercado has to make the big league.
I know, but now it's they got dudes, man.
They have so many guys. There's so many guys.
I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that earlier in the potty when we were talking about the Rojas thing, where it's just it's even the bullpen stuff. It's not ooh, I wonder which of these young guys are actually going to make it, which aren't, like Marte making it a couple years ago, whatever, that kind of stuff, where it's was that last year, whatever it was.
Last year.
Yeah. It's just the roster is so firm right now. It's really tight.
It's great. And speaking of that, I was going to save it for the take bag, but
this is it. It's a Michael Mercado themed take bag. So
it's Michael Mercado, but it's the fact that I can just lay my head down at night and sleep through it without waking up in a cold sweat, wondering if this Jeff Hoffman run is going to end. He's just good, man. He comes in, he throws strikes, he throws
pedigree,
hard,
buddy, pedigree,
and he's
giant too.
I think he's giant, but I think he's starting to develop the cockiness that you need out of. I mean, there is a world where Hoffman could be a closer here. I mean, he could be.
He's got the stuff for it, and he other than a couple moments, he's had some big playoff moments too, big spot moments. So
and it seems like they never want to put they never want to just put Sir Anthony or Alvarado just in that spot. Like they did it with Alvarado at the beginning of last year because it was bad. And then he got hurt and Kimbrel kind of took over and went on his all-star run. Our guy, Craig Kimbrel. So I just wonder if, there's some closer upside with Hoffman if they don't want to put one of those guys there, and if like Kirk Kering doesn't jump out and take it, he's just really good, and it seems it's like the Alvarado jump where you don't worry about Alvarado. I think that's where I'm at with Jeff Hoffman.
Love it. Yeah, look, I mean, if he does it, it's all about coming back and doing it again. So we'll see. And again, we always talk about like what a story with a lot of these guys, like for it to be like pitching to Harper or some BP and stuff, and then like to end up, doing what he's doing. It's really cool, especially as a former, was he a top 10 pick, not just first round pick or something, right? It's like 7 or 9 or whatever. So
I think he was 9 after Nola.
Yeah, a first round pick by the Rockies as a pitcher. It just must be like, well, that couldn't have gone worse. That couldn't have gone worse. All right. What else you got in the bag?
So, by the way, of all the things, right? The Harper, Tommy John caused. You have Harper at first base, and it unearthed the gem in Jeff Hoffman.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's a great point.
Once again, Tommy John
making the team better everywhere. Yeah, fortuitous Tommy John. Who knew it? Maybe Andrew Painter's going to come back and throw you, that much harder, and then his would be fortuitous too.
Dude, I think I've talked about it on this podcast. I'm sure I have. For as excited as I am for the Phillies to be back, I'm just as excited for the minor league, like watching Aiden Miller games down in Clearwater, seeing Justin Cross, like all that stuff, like everything that surrounds baseball. I love spring training. I love fantasy baseball. I love following the minor league system. I love, and then every night at 7:05. Everyone 6:40 these days. Everyone listening is just like, yeah, Jack, we know, buddy. 6:40 has ruined the magic of 7:05.
6:40 is great.
No, so it's
great.
Great.
Someone who wakes up at 3 a.m, the earlier the better, buddy.
Sure, and I'm not disagreeing.
Selfishly,
I'm just saying that which is a more romantic time?
7:05. It's not even close.
7:05 is romantic
by miles. It's what are we doing here? It's not even a question. I agree.
Yeah. So yeah, I can't wait for everything involved with the team. I know he only threw it maybe twice. I think he threw it 3 times, but it was only registered twice. The Wheeler splitter's there, man. There's something there with the Wheeler splitter, and he's saying how this is the pitch that's going to take him to winning a Cy Young. I mean, you're telling me. By the way, for people who may gamble or may not gamble, plus 850 for the Cy Young. Plus 850. Yeah. Just saying. By the way, like Ellie De La Cruz is plus 5,000, he was plus 15,000 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
regardless.
That's crazy.
Although I'm surprised, I looked at the stats, did not realize the end of the year batting 234. I thought he was way higher than that because I thought he was a unicorn. Either way, so he's like talking about how this pitcher is going to take him to the Cy Young. He had a splitter back with the Mets, but like they were such a dumb organization, and obviously the Phillies have taken massive advancements in Caleb Coffin. Like this version of the splitter seems so much different, and he did need something to get it off of. Get lefties off of his fastball because his lefties had decent numbers against him last year. I feel the only time he ever got hit hard was mostly by a lefty. Besides, I guess the Riley home run against the Braves, but like it had the right movement to it. My only concern with it is the arm able to handle it? Because it does.
Sure.
Loosen up the tendons in the elbows. But his arm also seems remarkably strong at this point. So it looked good. It looked like a pitch that can be a weapon, and I hope that we can see more of it as the spring goes on. Or they don't, and he just saved that baby for the regular season.
There you go. Or for the playoffs. Let's go. What else you got?
Yeah, just whatever. Have no book out on you.
Yeah.
I'm semi-annoyed with the strikeouts. It seems like there's a lot of strikeouts so far.
Well, especially if you're coming in and working. We're working on swinging and missing, putting the ball in play. It's like, eh.
Yeah, I feel like the chase has looked better. I feel like they're not chasing as much. But
it's early.
And I'm sure that as spring goes along, they'll be all right. You want to talk about pedigree? You want to talk about things that matter? Can I just have David Dahl on the team than Jake Cave. Like I don't.
Oh, big time. I couldn't agree with this more. 100%
Like
with you.
I know he could get hurt 100%. I know they don't like they might not need David Dahl. Like the end of the bench is going to be interesting from the point of like how much do they value Weston Wilson? Like do they want a right-handed bat that has some pop and is pretty patient, or do they want a lefty that might have some pop off the bench? It's just I want David Dahl out there.
I'm with you.
I don't need the J Cave thing anymore.
Totally agree.
He's hit a couple home runs this spring.
Yeah, I'm preach, buddy.
No one's
preach.
dying about J.K. not being on the team. There's I know people are starting to get excited about Aramis Garcia, and it's like
sure, Dot Garcia. I'm going
right. Maybe a better hitter than Stubbs, but I think people just don't get the value that Stubbs brings from like a vibes perspective, from the locker room stuff, like. He just
matters.
He just matters. He can play,
and it's backup catcher. He play, if that. JT plays more than most catchers too. Yeah, dude. What are we doing here?
Like,
what are we doing here?
If you get a minor upgrade,
people are still mad about the pool thing.
So I'm actually I'm
not mad at him anymore. It was wrong. Like we came to dumb idiot whatever, but. Like, let's, I'm not going to stay mad at Garrett Stubbs.
I know, but like, I'm surprised.
This guy. They still went out and didn't play well,
I know, but I am surprised at how I feel like I've gotten over it faster than myself thought that I would.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm totally, it's all good. Love you, buddy. We're good.
I almost forget it happened.
Let's move forward, buddy. Play some tunes. We're good.
Find the song. Find the song. And then I thought it was notable that they pitched Griff on back-to-back days, because I'm under the belief he's still in their plans to be a starter. Mm-hmm. So pitching on back-to-back days does not suggest
very notable.
Also, they went from he's not going to pitch in Grapefruit League to like a week later. Being in the in pitching back-to-back days, so
it's hilarious.
Thought that was weird. That was also I know there's the flu bug that's going around the team. Mm-hmm. Like, let me see McAble again. Let me see Griff again. I feel like I've seen almost everyone else a million times. By that point, but at this point in the spring, like I want to see some of the dudes.
Don't need to see. Yes, exactly. To quote Major League Lou Brown, guys will be bagging groceries in a month. Yeah.
There's. Oh, Griff pitched today. Nice.
There you go. Look at that. Ask and you shall receive.
He walked to.
You spoke it into existence, even though it already happened.
Yeah, he walked to. Yeah, we were grocery shopping by that point. So, but yeah, it's been. I'm definitely ready for spring training to be over, and the boys are almost here.
Love it.
Are almost here.
Love it. Final thing for me, getting requests. Some from me. Fritz guys list, just throwing that out there. Drafts are, coming around the corner.
They are.
Just saying.
I was sending some out last night to people.
Good. Well, I forgot to include me on the list. Thank you, friend. It's great.
Well, when's your draft?
March 22nd. So
we got some time. Got some time. So my draft that I care the most about is next Sunday. So I will
good. All right, so you'll be ready. Look at you. Birthday weekend draft. Look at that.
Whatever it takes. If you want one of my Fritz guys, and this is gonna hurt you, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners.
Yeah, it's great.
Deep down.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, he's throwing 95 miles an hour now, and the command hasn't really suffered. I'm intrigued by it. But Cole Irvin.
Oh no. Oh no. I had him for a spot starter too last year. He was so annoying. I picked him up. He would give me like 7 1-run innings, and then the next start give like 8 runs in 2 innings. I'm like, this is great.
I know. Nick Lodolo is going. Nick Lodolo was disgusting a couple years ago.
I like Nick Lodolo.
Do you remember he threw a complete game against the Phillies?
Of course I do. Freaking BBs. He was throwing BBs up there.
Nasty, man.
Yeah.
So he could definitely be like one of those turn bullish guys that. I always buy into the guys that are hurt coming back and like I can't believe he's so low, and then they get blown up. But I will be buying shares of Nick Lodolo as this goes on.
I am not surprised in on that one. All right, we'll be back later in the week, everyone. I was gonna say wish Shaq happy birthday on Friday, but make fun of him for being 30 on Friday. Please make fun of him for being 30. Please, please, please. I will. You should too. We'll be back later in the week. Until then, he's Fritz and Seltzer.